The film In Time is set in the year 2169, a time when people have stopped aging at 25 years old. The bad news, a clock, engineered into every human at birth, activates, giving the person 1 year to live. Time thus becomes the ultimate currency, as people can earn currency at work, spend it at businesses, or give it to one another.
How many shifts you got today, bro?
Just two. Really excited about it.
You stop aging at 25, but there's a catch. You're genetically engineered to live only 1 more year unless you can buy your way out of it. The story focuses on Will, a blue-collar worker whose mother Rachel passes away after her time runs out.
Whoa, what is this? Where's the rest?
Never met the quota.
My units are up from last week.
So's the quota. Next.
One night, Will saves a drunk named Henry Hamilton at a bar from being robbed of his time by Fortas and his gang in an act of kindness.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I know what I'm doing.
Run!
The drunk turns out to be a 105-year-old man from the rich city, who then tells Will that the rich have enough time for every person to live a long life, but they keep it all to themselves in order to be immortal. The rich living in a barricaded city earn decades at a time, remaining at age 25, becoming essentially immortal, while the rest beg, borrow, or steal enough hours to make it through the day. The drunk then gives Will 116 years and walks over to a bridge until his last couple of minutes run out, and he drops into the river, dead. Then, Will gives his best friend Burrell a decade. Meanwhile, Will's mother has to pay off her debts with time. Unable to convince anyone to give her time, she races home to Will as fast as she can, but she gets there seconds too late. Though he had enough to expand her life, she wasn't able to give any time to the bus that would take her home, as she had to pay off a loan prior. Rachel ends up dying in Will's arms as her time runs out.
No!
Next, Will goes through Time Zone 12, Time Zone 8, and then heads for Time Zone 12. This zone is called New Greenwich, the rich city. He tries the life at the wealthy. Given 116 years of time, Will becomes the prime suspect in the police's investigation of Hamilton's death. Will finds himself rubbing elbows with the elite of the world in a casino where he very nearly loses his time and life before winning a millennium in time. He meets a beautiful young woman named Sylvia, whose father is the wealthiest man, possessing over 1,000,000 years. Then, he buys a luxurious car included tax with 59 years. While at a party in Sylvia's home, the timekeeper named Raymond arrives to arrest Will for robbing the drunk from the beginning. The times of Will is also held by the policeman, and he only has 2 hours left. But Will escapes, taking Sylvia, who is the daughter of the wealthiest man in New Greenwich, hostage. When a man from the wrong side of the tracks is falsely accused of murder, he is forced to go on the run with a beautiful hostage. The film carries on with Will and Sylvia overcoming obstacle after obstacle, which will keep them from keeping their own time and finding ways to steal time from the elite and give it to the poor. Will takes Sylvia hostage, and they run for it. But then their car crashes and all of their time is robbed by scavengers. Will tries to demand a ransom for Sylvia, but when her father refuses, it enrages Sylvia, who shoots the cops that arrive and demands that Will help her do something about this injustice.
1,000 years.
Living minute to minute, the duo's love becomes a powerful tool in their war against the system. They begin robbing banks, taking time from them and distributing them evenly to the poor. They even rob years from Sylvia's father's bank of time. With the cops swarming on them and Raymond bent on revenge, Will and Sylvia must be careful to avoid capture. Will learns that the elites of the world hoard the time stores for themselves, while the poorest are left to fend for themselves or to die without any chance of expanding their time. Because of this, scavengers spring up which rob people of the time they have in order to live longer. Next, the scavengers find Will and Sylvia, but they fail in an arm wrestling competition. Together, the duo robs Sylvia's father of a million-year time capsule, which they distribute to the poorest of people, effectively allowing them to quit their jobs they have been destined to, which are owned by the elite who control the time they pay them with. Sylvia's father says that the upper class has created a wide chasm between the wealthy and the poor, which is seemingly impossible to overcome. But they share all the time to the poor to change. And in the end, Raymond runs out of time in pursuit of Will and Sylvia, and Will narrowly saves Sylvia's life with only 1 second remaining on her life clock. The poor begin to move into New Greenwich, and we see Will and Sylvia have teamed up to rob time from the elite and give it to the poor in an effort to crash the system built by their greed. Will and Sylvia continue to rob times from other banks to change the world.